They're losing tons of money building up these streaming services. That can't go on forever. And at a point when they start charging enough to actually make money, we'll see what happens.
In the fourth quarter of 2020, the Netflix subscriber base grew 22% year over year. By Q4 of 2021, that growth was down to 9%, missing their subscriber growth estimate by 220,000. Over the next 6 months, Netflix shares lost 65% of their value. On April 20th, 2022, the company endured its biggest one-day stock plunge ever, closing down over 35% and losing $54 billion in market cap.
The economics of streaming are something that is not sustainable. I mean, Netflix lost money for years building up that service. All the studios, they're talking about getting their streaming services to a profitable place, but it's not there yet.
In quarters 2 and 3 of 2022, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus had a combined operating loss north of $3 billion, while Peacock, Paramount Plus, and Warner Brothers Discovery each recorded losses of more than $1 billion.
Sometimes having too much volume is not good for everybody. You have 3 times the number of independent movies. Most of those films are not going to recoup their budgets. And then those financiers are less likely to go make other movies. And you just have to go and just churn and churn and churn, which I'd like to be in a business where everybody is profitable and wants to keep on doing it.
Is streaming more available? Sure. Is it potentially cheaper? Arguably, yes. It's cheaper because it's being subsidized in a way that traditional forms of business are not subsidized.
In the spring of 2021, Netflix bought 2 Knives Out sequels for $450 million. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, premiered in 700 theaters over Thanksgiving before leaving the big screen to maximize its Netflix release on Christmas Eve, and confining its box office return to about $13 million. The original Knives Out made over $300 million in theaters. Netflix became profitable during the pandemic and has seen a considerable rise in net revenue after a reduction in content spend, the addition of an ad tier, and announcements of a password-sharing crackdown. But the plunge in its market cap forced a pivot in the streaming media narrative from one of growth to one of profitability, a mandate that will make it more difficult for them to forego box office returns in exchange for exclusive releases to their platform, at least theoretically.
With regard to mass market, large scale films, it's quite clear that theatrical is an important component of the film's release. We've had 3 of the biggest box office successes of all time released since movie theaters reopened. The day and date strategy, which was employed early on during the reopening, did not do well at the box office and did not do well streaming.
Though 2023 has seen a few hits and the domestic box office is up 20% from 2022, it's still 20% behind pre-pandemic numbers, and the summer blockbuster season has largely disappointed, with bullish properties like The Flash, Indiana Jones, and Elemental vastly underperforming. 2023 hasn't been any kinder to streamers.
It's been a brutal earnings season for media and streaming giants. Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers Discovery, all suffering declines this month. So with streaming not the answer, what?
An industry that was enjoying unprecedented growth now finds itself in a state of crisis, suggesting the need to replace blanket release strategies with more tactical distribution methods.
We're in a period of flux right now, which is not just about what's going on with streaming, but also how does theatrical return?
The positive thing about the model being blown up is that it creates more tools that distributors have to share movies with audiences. A theatrical release, no matter how big or successful, is still the ultimate tool for legitimizing a movie. We can look at a film, look at where we think it'll live theatrically, where we think it'll live digitally, and craft a window and pricing strategy around that individual movie. Even if that doesn't translate into a huge box office success story, you can see a very measurable impact on what happens with a film during the rest of its life cycle.
Though distribution tools have multiplied, the best way to deploy them can be elusive, but one available tactic could be to embrace a release pattern that has faded in recent years.